Once upon a time, there was a mountain railroad. It served the people in Johnson City, Tennessee, and in Boone, North Carolina, right across the top of the mountain. It grew out of the era right after the Civil War, the Reconstruction days, prospered for several decades, even survived the Great Depression. But then again, between new trucking routes coming over the mountain and a flood in the 1940s, the death knell was being sounded for the East Tennessee, Western North Carolina Railroad. And if it weren't for a group of guys who had the kind of money in their pocket to indulge their nostalgia, the Tweetsie Railroad would have disappeared from the scene in the 1950s. But the Tweetsie lives as the main attraction of North Carolina's first theme park, and its shrill whistle, which spawned its name, still reverberates through the hills and valleys quite near to its former terminal. The Tweetsie's 100 years old this year, and some of its engines are still running because, as a man named Shepard Duggar put it nearly a century ago, they were crafted in the tradition of the best jewel stem winder in the pocket of a millionaire. Tweetsie was 12 engines, 6 freights, and 3 passenger trains daily, making 66 miles between Johnson City to Boone in 4 hours. Tweetsie was engineers who seemed not to be in too big of a hurry to say howdy, even to stop and help if needed. And friendly conductors who called out stops, sometimes only a mile apart. Watauga, Doe River, Happy Valley, Hampton, Cranberry, Pinola, Sycamore Shoals, Pardee Point, Montezuma, Linville, Justice Siding, Roan Mountain, a favorite for picnickers. Tweetsie was the mail run, bringing magazines and newspapers, too. It was coal and iron and logs, and it brought salesmen, relatives, and teachers to a region previously untouched. And to hear a lot of folks talk, the old railroad not only rejuvenated the region, but saved lives. Frank Williams is a railroad man who followed in his father's footsteps. Frank's father was a Tweetsie conductor for more than 30 years.
This man that lived at Shell Creek, he had a very serious illness, and they had to get a doctor into him right quick. So the company furnished the engine and the coach, and the train crew and the engine crew, they ran that train at no charge and took the doctor and took it up to Shell Creek to attend to this man. Some people have referred to it as the road with a heart, and it's true.
When the Tweetsie's whistle blew no more, there were still those who went to meetings in Washington to try to get it back. And after thumbing through the pages of testimony, one thing emerges. The Tweetsie wasn't a train, it was a way of life. Let me read to you what one farmer told the Interstate Commerce Commission back in 1950. 2 to 3 times a day when I was a plowing, I'd see her come by, and Mr. Allison, Mr. Pippin, Mr. Crumley, and the others, well, they'd toot to me and wave, and I'd wave back. It was kind of company. But that first spring, well, it got so I'd hate to go near them bottom acres, thinking you heard her coming through the valley. I'd look over at the track, what had the weeds coming up between the ties on the bed and all, and, well, it was just downright lonesome looking, awful lonesome.